so that other people can see it in the future. So, welcome to our very first class as the newly formed Minnesota Cottage Food Producers Association. We're hoping to have several more as time progresses, and we're excited to have Patricia as our very first guest. We want to ask everybody to make sure you keep your mics muted, just because it makes quality work better. Unless you want to ask a question. If you want to ask a question, put it in the chat, and then Jen will call on you.
Yeah.
And I'm Shelley Erickson. I'm president of the Minnesota Cottage Food Producers Association. Jennifer Carrevoux is my vice president. And Christine, say hi, Christine, is also on our board. She is our treasurer. And we're super excited. We're hoping to make great progress as we get more members and we become more legitimate and more acknowledged. I think we're going to make big strides in Minnesota. We're the first cottage food association in the United States. There was one other that started a few years ago, but he wasn't able to make it work. So right now we're the one and only one in the United States. And it's super exciting, can I say?
It is really exciting. And Shelley has worked so hard on this cottage food law for so many years that everybody seriously should really thank her, because she's been working on it for about 11 years. I came in as a late bloomer in about 2014, 2015. And, but she really has put a lot of her heart and soul into it. And this is a labor of love. So yeah, thanks, Shelley.
My pleasure. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Patricia Bedford. She's going to give us some marketing tips, and she owns the bakery in Texas, Suga's Bakery. And Patricia, you're welcome.
Yep. And just so you know how we found her, you guys, she was featured on Forager, right?
Yeah, with David Crable on his podcast.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, let me go ahead and get started here. Welcome, everybody. Thank y'all for having me. I'm so excited to just be able to share with you guys, well, with you gals, about what I've been doing in the cottage industry here in Texas. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And here we go. Okay, so here's the title of the presentation today: Engineering a Successful Home Business, Pricing and Marketing for Success. And you'll see where the engineering comes in just a moment. All right, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am, my background, my training was in engineering, electrical computer engineering. I went to Baylor University and graduated there years ago. My course for my career was supposed to be engineering. I still am one because I have the degree. I'm just not a practicing one. And I went down the path of how I got started with this was I actually started baking for my family when my grandmother passed away. And because I wanted to keep the family together, because she was the hub of the family. And I wanted to, find that way to keep us all together. So her company is my company is her namesake, Suga, because I called her Suga, not grandma or anything like that, or Mima or anything. We call her Suga. That's all I know about. And so, I started baking as a way to, like I said, keep the family together. Eventually, I started taking decorating classes because I wanted, at Michael's, because I wanted my creations to look as good as I knew they taste. And after a couple years of people poking at me to start a business, and instead of just giving my stuff away because they said it's too nice for you to give away, I formed Suga's Cakery. Okay, so in Texas, a Texas college law, they require us to two things. We don't have to be inspected by the local health authorities because we're cottage, but we do have to label our products when we sell them with a certain language that just basically says, this is what the food product is. These are the allergens, and this product is made in a kitchen not inspected by the local health authorities. That's pretty much what the labeling says. And then we do have to get our food handler's permit. Now, once we do that, we're considered cottage law bakers in Texas. Okay. So yeah, I was in the industry as an engineer for about 10 plus years, and I was doing my business on the side, and I just felt like I was more comfortable being an entrepreneur than an employee, really. I was doing on the side, and I started just really being more drawn to the whole process of taking orders and trying to be creative with my designs and how I market myself and all this. I just really became drawn to it. And I, a few years later, I guess a couple years ago, I had an opportunity through a layoff, actually, to do this full time. So instead of applying for more engineering jobs, I just started ramping up my business even more so. So I've been doing this full time for 2 years here in Texas. And I'm going to share with you more about my journey and how I've been doing that through marketing and pricing in just a little bit here. Does anybody have any questions? And feel free to chime in with questions if you have them, because I know I'm going to go through quite a bit of stuff. But I want to make sure I don't lose anybody, or, if I start explaining what, the different tools that I'm using, I want to make sure that everybody's with me. So feel free to chime in if you have any questions. Any questions so far? Okay, well, I'm going to keep going.
Chat box, so I'll let you know when there are some.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right, so marketing nuggets. These are what I'm going to go through today in marketing. These are just some tools that I've used to, get going with my business. First off, I didn't do this at the beginning, but I started getting professional photos taken of my product work. Okay, not everything, like every cake I bake. If you look at my website, you'll see that most of them are not professional, but I do have professional photos for when people ask me for certain things, and if I'm going to be marketed somewhere, I have professional photos or portfolio that I can send to people. Second thing that I invested in was a website. And I'll go through that whole bit and I'll show you my website and everything. Third thing, I have a Google My Business listing. Most of y'all hopefully are familiar with that. When you try to Google, when you want to go eat dinner or something like that, that's what pops up in Google. It's their Google My Business listing. Next thing, my Facebook. I have a Facebook page for my business, and I use tools like Canva and PicMonkey to make collateral for the posts. Also, I did farmers markets as well and events. I did those events as well. I've done those, and I'll get into that. And then I also did a Kickstarter that has also helped me propel my business. So here's some professional photos that I had taken of my product. I specialize really in cupcakes. So I paid a guy, $200-$300. I made everything that I make. He took pictures. These are just a sample. He took pictures of, my product plated, and he gave me those pictures, okay? I bought props, like the towels and the plates and the little prop in the back there. you know, I bought the props and I just took it to his studio and he set up the pictures and shot the pictures. Now, these are very important. Like I said, if someone contacts you and they want to feature an article or they want to learn more about your company, and they say, well, can you send me some pictures of your work? You have these ready, right? So I would say this is a great investment in marketing for your company, is to invest a little bit of money in getting a professional photographer to take pictures of your work. Next thing that I would say that you want to invest some time in is a website. So I have it hyperlinked here, and I'm going to go to my website. And I am no, even though I have an engineering background, I'm not proficient in coding websites. That's just something I did not really learn. I learned a little bit, but not a whole lot. So this is built on, this website is actually built on Vistaprint. And all these pictures in my website are my pictures. So this picture here, the cupcakes, these are not stock photos. Those are my professional shots that were taken by my photographer. And as you can see, you know, I've taken a lot of time to put this website together, you know, with my pictures. You really want to kind of stay away from using stock photos, because I think people get to know you and the authenticity of your product through real photos of yourself. You know what I mean? You want to represent your work. So, so this is my menu and my pricing. As you can see, there's more of my professional photos. I list what they come in, if it comes in cake, cupcakes, mini cupcakes.
Patricia?
Sure, yes. Mm-hmm.
Sorry to leap in. I'm still only seeing the link to your website, not your actual website. I don't know if other people can see your page.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Hold on one sec. Let me fix that. How about now?
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me know. I didn't know you couldn't see it. Yeah, if that ever happens, just let me know. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll go back to my homepage. Okay, so yeah, the pictures that I'm using on my page are, like I said, this is that black backsplash is a professional shot that got shot by a professional photographer of my products. Then there's some cakes. They're not so professional picture, but it's a picture. Then I've got more product shots there, pictures of my work. You guys feel free to take a glance at this at your leisure. Yeah, I'm just going back over my menu and my pricing. There's more product shots here, as you can see. Product shots with a professional photographer really just kind of, I feel, really just kind of take you to a whole different level as far as what people are willing to pay for your product, because they see you in a different way. You know what I mean? Because of you know the type of pictures that you're putting out there. It's part of your brand. The brand you want to portray, right? So this is more of my offerings, beginning the pricing down here. And then more professional shots in my menu, okay? All right, so let's see what else here. Let me go back to, so yeah, anybody have questions about professional shots or anything like that, or website? If, like I said, if you're not proficient with website making, there's Vistaprint, there's Wix, what else? There's, what's the other one I'm looking for?
There's WordPress with like DreamHost and different things like that.
Right, WordPress, yeah, things like that. So, and they have templates you can use on WordPress, like any of the other websites. So, yeah.
Who did you use, Patricia?
Vistaprint. This is a Vistaprint site.
So here's a question that Margaret put in there that she uses Weebly for a website. And then we have another question here. Do you use Stripe or something like that?
Like,
I'm not sure what Stripe is.
I'm not sure what that is. What is that?
Anna, do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, so it's it's a way for you to take sorry, I'm blanking, credit card. So so you
So
can
is it like
integrate.
PayPal?
It's
but
like PayPal, it's Stripe. I'm trying to think of what the other one is that's kind of popular. But anyway, I was just wondering if you use
Like
something
Square?
like that too, or do you take cash or credit card or Square?
That's a
That's
good
it.
question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I use Square. I use Square
Square, okay.
because it's because I can do invoicing on it, and then I can also invoicing system. So I use Square, and it allows me to document cash transactions and credit card transactions. And then it gives me all these different reports about how I'm selling, what I'm selling the most, you know, when I'm selling the most, compare this and compare that. So I like Square. That's what I use. Now I don't have it on my website. I don't have a cart on my website because I feel with custom cakes and the type of orders we take, it's important to have kind of a conversation with the customer, that, you know, where they just get a point and click, you know what I mean? There's so many aspects to creating a custom cake. So it's hard to have a cart for a custom cake. So I do have an inquiry form
Okay.
on my contact us, and that's what the customer fills out. And it just lets me know what's on their mind, what they're thinking about, so I can have an idea of what they're going to be, you know, or what they're needing. And then during the phone consultation, that's when we book and collect money and all of that. So my process is if they call me, I'll have them fill out this form so I have documentation of the order, okay? Or if they fill out the form first, I'll call them and just confirm the details of the sheet. Of the inquiry form, just to make sure they didn't miss something, I'm not missing something, that kind of thing. And what I'll do is I'll go and take the information, I'll give them a verbal quote or send them a quote on Square, which you can do on Square. And then which is, you know, credit card processing. And then if they accept it, I issue an invoice. And once they're paid, once the invoice is paid, they're confirmed, I put them on the schedule. So that's kind of my ordering process, going through my website.
One thing I noticed with your website as well, Patricia, and just communicating with you besides telephone, on your website, you actually have a button that you can click that messages you, and then it comes back and it tells you about your average response time. So is that something that is an instant message, or is it tied to your text message?
Yes, that's actually part of the Google My Business.
Okay, which you're going to talk about. Okay, I'll let it be.
That's a great question, though. That's a great question. Great question.
I was all over that because I'm like, that'd be great for the association.
Yes, we'll get into that momentarily, but thank you for asking that. Yes. Okay. So we talked about the website. Any questions about a website or anything like that? How to create one, or what should go on there, or anything like that? I think if you're going to be a successful cottage baker, you know, or a baker, you know, you gotta have a website. That's the first marketing piece you gotta have. All right, and that'll segue into my next comment about how people find us. Let's see here. So I'm going to go back to my presentation. Okay, so segue into how people find us, right? So we have a website, but what do we do with it, right? How do people find us for business? It typically, yes, is by word of mouth. It can be by word of mouth. It could be by Facebook. It could be by Google, which is what I'm going to set into here. I had statistics that 80% of people look to Google for when they're trying to find something on the mobile devices. Okay, that's a pretty high percentage of people who are using that search engine to find what they're looking for. So if you're not on Google, you're missing out on a lot of people that are searching for what you might provide. Now, how do you get on Google, right? First, you have a website. You'll want to have a website. We talked about that. Okay. Secondly, you'll want to have my business listing. Now we're going to go to my Google business listing for Suga's Cakery, and you'll see what I say. You see what I mean? It's a hyperlink to that. Hopefully it comes up. Okay, let me share this. Did y'all see me switch over to my Google My Business listing or no?
Yep, your business on Google. Yep.
Okay, I just was making sure I didn't lose you guys. Okay, this is my Google business listing here for Suga's Cakery. And as you can see, if somebody Googles, typically if somebody Googles cakes near me, cupcakes near me, cake delivery service, whatever relating to cakes, I'm one of the first ones that pop up. And why is that? It's because I have a complete profile on here. I have a phone number. And the great thing, I have a phone number, I have a website, and the great thing about my Google My Business, actually, you do not have to publish your address. As you can see, I have no address listed because it's my home, right? I don't want to post my home, and Google understands that. So I told them that, and they're like, okay, well, we'll just list you in a general vicinity. And they allowed me to know what zip codes that I wanted to market to. And they put me in like an area on the map. Y'all see this area cover? Instead of just a general like address. Is there a question?
Not yet. Just a nice is in there, and
Okay, cool. All right, just a comment. All right, cool. All right, so now with the Google Business My listing, Google My Business listing, what you want to do is you'll want to download Google My Business on your phone. Okay, and it doesn't matter if you have an Android or iPhone, you want to download that off the Play Store or the App Store, the Apple App Store, right? Download that, and then you have a website and everything like that. Even if you don't have a website, I think they give you a template to create a website with Google. Fill out all the information as much as you can, and then what they're going to ask you to do is get verified. They're going to send you a postcard in the mail, and there's going to be an activation code that you have to put into the app to make sure you do, because they don't want people saying, you know, I'm Suga's Cakery, right? That's how they make sure that you're a legit business. And one cool thing about the Google My Business is, I think Jennifer said this, right? You said that you saw that you can message me on there.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a cool feature of Google My Business. I'm not seeing I can do it here, but
On your website, it's right up there. It says message, and you click it, and it says typically responds in like 15 minutes.
Right.
Boom, fast.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So that's a feature that comes with Google My Business. If you respond promptly, they'll keep that feature on. Let's see. Is there a question?
Quick question for you. Do you pay for Google My Business, or is it free?
That is a great question. Thank you for asking. No, that is a big no. Okay, there are companies out there that will try to market to you and get you to pay for Google My Business. I mean, they'll charge anywhere from $200 to $3,000 I've seen. Okay, this service is free from Google. You should not have to pay for it. Okay, so don't pay for this. If you have questions, you can email me personally, and I can get you with my person in Google if I can't answer the question about setting this up. But no, they make it easy to where you can actually do this on your own. Okay, it's very user friendly. They made it this way, but yes, watch out for that. There are companies out there that will say, "Oh, you have to pay for your listing," or something like that, or whatever. That's just absolutely false.
Another question here came up. Do you have to have the app, or can it be done on the computer?
Great question. Yes, you can be done on the computer, but I recommend having both on the computer and the app, because if you're Google My Business will send you notifications via email if somebody is messaging you or something. I think you have to have it on your phone if you want to get the text messages. But Google will, I recommend you have it on your phone too, because then there's icons, like if somebody leaves you a review, you can get it instantaneously and respond instantaneously. If somebody's messaging you, you can get it instantaneously. So I recommend both.
Also, if you have it on your phone and computer both, they're going to view differently too, aren't they?
Exactly. Now, for me personally, when somebody, and that's another thing about Google My Business. Okay, as you can see, I have about 164 4.9 star reviews, 5 stars. I don't know why they don't give my 5 stars. They just stinky. Anyway. Let me see.
Another question for you. Do you use Google Voice for business phone?
Yes, I do. I use Google Voice for my business phone. That's a great question. You can customize it just like you can a phone. And then the number I have posted on my Suga's Cakery here is a Google Voice number. It's not my personal line, it's the Google Voice. That's a great question. So yes, please use that. So yeah, reviews. Now, so let's say you have a website, you've put up your Google My Business listing, okay? What you want to do next is you want to post pictures under my Google My Business. They will ask you all this stuff. No need to try to remember it or write it down. You can write it down if you want to, but Google will prompt you through this whole process. They're going to ask you for photos of your product. They're going to ask you where are your reviews. You know what I mean? So there is actually there is a button here that says share your review form. You can send that link if you have it on your phone. You can send that link to customers when you're following up after you do an order. Hey, Jenny, how is the cake? Would you mind reviewing my business on Google? And more than likely, they'll say, yeah, sure, it was great. And give you 5 stars. And now, why those reviews are important? One, it's important to get them because when people are looking for your business, what are you doing for business? You're looking for people with good reviews, right? If you're trying to find a plumber or some good pizza, you're gonna Google them and you're like, okay, well, what do their reviews look like, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting your good reviews. Go ahead and get your reviews, and then, but more importantly, you want to respond to those reviews. Okay, after a customer leaves your review, go ahead and promptly respond so that Google sees that you have an active page. And just one more, I go right to the question. You have an active page, and then also boost your ranking on Google. It's called search engine optimization. That's what that's called. Let me see. Question.
Here's another question for you. Did you have to pay to be on Yelp, or is it connected to Google?
That's a great question as well. Great. Y'all are great. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about Yelp. That wasn't on my presentation, but it is something that I did want to address, so thank you for asking that question. Yelp is another site that is, it's pretty decent for marketing, but I don't really like it. And I'll tell you why. Because Yelp, you can, I didn't create a Yelp listing, and that's why I'm not showing it today. I didn't create my Yelp listing. A customer created for me, and I had to claim it. And I was like, oh gosh, because a customer did a review, right? And it posted, once they did a review, it posted me as a business on Yelp. And they contacted me, you want to claim your listing? And I was like, oh, I guess I will. I didn't want to because Yelp, they will put competitors on your site on your Yelp page until you pay them not to.
Oh, they blackmail you.
I don't like that. That's really underhanded to me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then once you get on there, they call you and call you and call you to get you to buy ads on Yelp. Okay. They almost harass you, and I don't like that. I'm busy. Okay. If I want to buy an ad, I'll buy an ad. Thank you very much. 3. Well, the third reason I don't like Yelp. If a customer writes you a review, they may or may not post it. Okay, because there's these things called recommended reviews and not recommended reviews on Yelp. And I don't know how they decide which is which, but it's a computer. It's some computer algorithm that does that. So they don't post all your reviews, good or bad. So if you get a 5-star and a 0-star for whatever, or 1 star for whatever reason, and they decide that 1 star is more important than that 5-star, you can be a 1 star. You know what I mean? For no reason, and have a great bakery. You see what I'm saying? So, and like I said, oh, by the way, all this I'm telling you that I've done besides purchasing the website hosting services has been free. Okay?
Nice.
Free. This has been free, absolutely free. You don't have to pay for this except for the website hosting and the pictures, sure. You do have to invest a little bit, but it's free as far as money goes. You will have to invest some time, okay? It does take a little time. But it's mostly free. And so, yeah, that's why, back to Yelp, that's why I don't like Yelp. I mean, I claim my business. I still have a 5-star rating on there. I've got a couple of, I think maybe 1 or 2 1-stars or something like that. I don't know, whatever. But they don't show. Thank goodness. but yeah, that's why I really don't like Yelp. I mean, I really don't like Yelp. So, but there's other places you can get 5 stars on. Like there's a Thumbtack is another kind of booking app that I was a part of. I have 5 stars there. There's just this is all free. So back to your reviews. If you, like I said, if you get the review and you answer the review, you will be ranked higher than a bakery that's claiming its businesses and is not answering reviews. If you have a website, you're updating that website at least, once a day or once a week, and the update only has to be put a picture, okay? And if you put a picture on your website, make sure you name it what it is. Don't let your computer auto-generate the name, because Google sees that. When Google sees, say you made a carrot cake and you took a picture and you want to post it to your website, name it carrot cake, because then Google can take that picture name and put it in a search engine. Okay, if it can't do that, it won't boost your rankings. That's a little search engine optimization stuff for you guys. So that's the search engine optimization is just a fancy term for boosting yourself up in the rankings at Google, the Google machine, right? Because you want to be seen. Because like I said earlier, 80% of people who are looking for something are going to Google on their mobile devices. The number might be higher. That was last summer when I checked that number. But yeah. So any questions? I know I'm giving y'all a lot of information, but let me see. I think there is a question.
Yeah, here's another question for you. Do you happen to know if Instagram updates posts on a website counts towards the SEO?
That's a good question. I believe so. Because it is an update. So I think it does. Any update really to your website counts as an update, and Google will see that as fresh content. Google will see that as fresh content and will boost your rankings.
I think I know Instagram updates posts. I know from my daughter's Facebook page. I bet they do from websites as well. What do you know, Shelly? Do you know from working with Instagram? No idea. Okay.
No idea.
But yeah, I would say so. Like I said, because it's an algorithmic thing, right? Google is going in the background and taking a look at your website and seeing what's been updated. Okay, what's fresh new content? And if Instagram is giving it fresh new content, or you're giving it fresh new content, I don't really think it matters. It just sees it as fresh content.
I would assume so, because that's why you're supposed to put tags on everything. Even when I write a blog, I'm supposed to put as many tags as possible because then it goes to the
Yes.
search engine.
Yes, that's true. That's true as well. Mhm. That's a great point, Shelley. So when you have your website too, what you want to do is put as many words in there that you want to be found by. If you have delivery service, you want to make sure you mention that on your website. Okay? Specialize in custom cakes or custom cookies. Make sure your website mentions that. Anything that you want to be found for, make sure your website mentions that specifically, uses that specific term. Because Google is looking for those terms when it's looking to pull you out of the pack and serve your information up. So this is great, guys. Any more questions about Google My Business listing, websites, anything professional photography, anything like that?
There's a comment here from someone that says, I actually have InstaFeed on my website, but I haven't looked into the details as far as stats go. So it'll be interesting if you do look into that. And do you say Anna? Is that how you say it? Okay. It'll be interesting if you find that there's stats, it'd be interesting for you to maybe share that on our, email it to us so that we can maybe post it on our website or on our Minnesota Cottage Food Producers page.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. All right, and then here, as far as stats goes, Google does tell you how many searches you've gotten, you've appeared in, how many views, how many people have taken action, and all of that. Now, the reason why this is important is because all this directly correlates to how many conversions you get, which is conversions are people who look at your website and that turns into a lead for you as a business owner, right? Okay. So now I noticed that when I specifically update my website or I post pictures on my Google My Business or I answer a review, immediately, I'm talking about the next day or the same day or the next week, I see an influx in business immediately. So it's not like it takes months and months to see the results. No. Once I tell you this, when as soon as I update things on my website, if you're keeping an active business on Google through your website, through your business listing, Google will reward you for that. So use it. I would say use it. You know, it's a free tool. You can create ads on Google. You can. If you're ready to handle the influx of business, you can do the Google ads. They are effective. I have seen my business grow as a result of creating those ads. But you don't have to.
Here's a question for you, Patricia. Somebody's wondering, all the stats you're showing, are those private to you in your account? So you're the one seeing it and nobody else can see it?
Yes, that's private to me in my account because Google knows that I'm looking at it knows that this is my computer and that I'm signing to my account, my Google My Business account. It's private.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And as you see, I got another review 5 hours ago. I need to answer. I'll answer sometime tonight, I guess.
Okay, so it is private. Good.
Yeah, this whole section right here is private. So if you Google Suga's Cakery, you won't see all this. You'll just see my business listing. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Is there another question? I thought I saw. Oh, okay. All right. So pricing. Sure. Let me see.
So I think she's going to move on to pricing here shortly. If anybody has questions, because I'm looking at the time and we're starting to run short on time. If you have any specific questions about pricing, maybe put them in now. And if she's not answered them, then we can make sure we ask them.
Yes. And then, so I'm going to go back to my slide. Let's see here. There's so much information I could really share. I could probably do a 2-part, 3-part series on this, but.
And maybe we'll have to have you back to talk some more so we can finish up some of it. And I guess we could maybe poll everybody, we could, but I know pricing is a big thing for people. if we want to move on? Or do we want to stay on the website, guys?
Sure. Yeah, if y'all want to stay there. So, okay, we'll move on to pricing. I am going to go to a tool that I use for pricing. And let me show y'all. Let me see here. Here we go. Can y'all see that? That website's all called Cake Boss.
Yes.
All right, cool. So this is called Cake Boss. Cake Boss software for bakers. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it. It was actually generated or started down here in Texas, and it is a tool to help manage your bakery. Now, I'm not affiliated with Cake Boss. I'm not getting any money from any of it, but I just want to share it as a good tool for you guys, okay? Because it's really helped me, okay? So it's just cakeboss.com. You can register under there. The total cost for this to sign up for an account is $120, a one-time payment of that, and then every year it's $20, and you're just paying for the cloud services because they hold your recipes, they hold your customers, they hold orders, all these different things. Has to be stored somewhere, and it's not stored on your computer; it's stored in the cloud. So you're paying for the cloud services with a $20 a year fee. Not so bad, right? Like I said, I'm not affiliated with this company. They're not paying me to say this. It's just a tool that I come across that I think would be helpful.
Here's a question. Have you ever seen or used Bake Diary?
No, I haven't. Nope. Sorry about that. Oh, it is similar? Okay, cool. Yeah, there may be other similar products out there. I suggest using something like this because it helps with pricing. And I'm going to get into how I kind of get into figuring out how to cost out my recipes and my cakes. So we were at the homepage of Cake Boss. Now you can do this with a spreadsheet, of course. You can do this on Excel, okay? But if you don't want to measure out and count out in all of this minute amounts of baking powder and baking soda and how much you put in each recipe, you can let this software do it for you. Okay, so I'm going to my recipes tab, and these are my recipes, okay? What it does is allow you to input ingredients. So this is my actual recipe, and as you can see, it shows the quantity, the measuring, how I measure it, and the name of the ingredient, and then it shows you how much. I need to fix that. The butter's not zero. But anyways, it shows you how much per recipe each ingredient costs. Okay. Now, this is probably one of the most important parts you need to understand in business about is how much your ingredients cost per batch, per recipe, right? Because you want to see if you're spending too much or too little or whatever in your recipes. There could be changes, like vanilla went up a lot. Y'all remember that about a year or two ago? Vanilla went up, and how do you adjust your price to account for that? So this software goes down and breaks down how much each ingredient is per recipe. And then it even has a little section for how you make it. Oh yeah, you do have to put the cost you pay for the ingredients in there. So there's I have to go through the weeds and fees to really show you how this works. But let me see. So there's this thing on the recipes called master ingredients, and the company itself tries to give you every ingredient you can think of that you might put in your cakes, okay? And if it doesn't, you can add it to what they call the master's ingredient. So let's say you use there's a gluten-free blend I use. This is really expensive, so I definitely account for it. Okay, so I put it in there as my master ingredient. I purchased 50 pounds, I'm sorry, yeah, 50 cups at $70. It's $1.40 per unit. And so once you put the master ingredients in, and once you enter a recipe, it'll pull from the master ingredients and do the calculations on how much you're using per recipe. So that's how I do my calculations. Now, you can also, they also have a package category where you can put in packaging and add that to the cost. I just haven't done that yet. I just do that by hand because I get so busy. There's a lot of features in there that I haven't used only because I just get so busy. But I've actually sat down and done it by hand, the packaging. Packaging is a little bit easier to calculate because, you know, a box is like $1 or whatever. And it's easier to add to the whole cost of the recipe, right? So, but when you're pricing out your recipes, let's look at my Italian cream cake with cream cheese frosting. So the total cost is $11.57. Now I'm a scratch baker, okay? So all my ingredients, you know, from the flour up, this is a scratch recipe just for your reference. Doesn't matter if it's scratch or box, doesn't matter. Now, my recipe, when I calculate how much it's costing me to do this recipe, I have the base cost of my recipe with my cream cheese frosting. It's $11.57. What I also add in, I take my insurance for the year, which is about $299, $300. Okay, and I divide that, you know, out over the months, and then I try to calculate that per recipe. So you have to add in your insurance, add in my utilities, insurance and utilities, and what else am I missing? I think that's it. And then I pay myself, you know, per cake. How much do you want to make per hour? Is it $10, $12, $15, $20? You know what I mean? So basically, once I figured out how much that cost per cake, I came up with $33 per batch. So on average, I am costing out about, my cakes cost about $33. That's paying me a little bit, you know, for ingredients, for insurance, for utilities, for phone use, all of that. So my cakes cost me about $33. And I, on my website, as you can see, I start my cakes out for an 8-inch round at about $55, okay? Because that, I'm adding on decor, the time it takes me to go get ingredients, all of that other stuff. That's what I'm adding on, you know, bake, time to actually design the cake and all of this. Because you don't know, you can't calculate when you're doing your cost of goods, you can't really calculate how long it's going to take you to do each custom cake. That's a number you're going to have to come up with when you're quoting the customer. So you take your base cost, which in my case is $33, and you add on your hourly wage for the creation of that cake, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's how I come up with my costs. So typically, I mean, you want to make at least, what, 10, 12 an hour at least I'm thinking, or more, however else you think is your goods are worth. If you're just starting out, it may be on the lower end. If you've been doing it for a while, you may go up to $15 or $18 an hour. It just depends on where you're at. Now, if you want to understand where your prices need to be, I consult other bakeries' websites around the area because I'm in Texas and we might have a different standard of living than where you guys are. So, I would also, because you don't want to undercut the business, the industry. So I would say around what other people are charging for their cakes in the same area. And like they should have the prices listed online. Hey, you can even call and just act like a customer and just say, hey, what's your 8-inch cake cost? Nothing wrong with that, you know, because you don't want to undercut the industry. You don't want, you know, you don't want to cheapen our craft, right? You want to make sure that you're getting paid, a living wage for what you're doing. So yeah, that's my little movement for pricing. I would say start with a program that can actually cost out your ingredients for you, so you know how much you're charging per recipe, how much it costs per recipe, and then go up from there. Calculate your costs as far as like gas and phone and lights and all of this. And just do a roundabout number, and add that to the cost of ingredients. And then you have your base cost on how much a batch costs for each recipe. Okay, like I said, my number is $33 for a batch of any recipe. That's average. And then I add my labor on top of that per hour. So hopefully that helps. I'm not the best at costing, but that's what I do. I mean, I've been looking at my books and I seem to be making money.
I love how you talked about a livable wage. That's been a discussion we've had a lot this year, right, Shelley? We've been having a discussion with MDA a whole lot, because in the state of Minnesota right now, we're limited in, we have 2 tiers, and we're limited to $18,000 in revenue, not even in profit, in revenue. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
That's one of our big fights right now.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're taking to the mat.
Yes, you should. Here in Texas, I think we're at 50,000 revenue. Yeah, that's crazy.
So I have a question for you, because I had to step away for a second and extend our time here, which is good. I'm not complaining. But my question for you is, when you figure out your wage, do you include, do you take into account that you're going to have self-employment tax and taxes? So let's say that you want to be paid a wage of $20 an hour. Do you then adjust that for your tax liability? So it'd be like, let me think about it mathematically. So if you had it'd be like, what would it be per hour then? Because what is it, about 30% for taxes?
Right. So you're saying like, okay, so if you were making $20 an hour, you're actually making 17, 18 after taxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
About $14. So if you're charging $20 an hour after taxes, you're probably making about 14, depending on the tax bracket.
Right. If it's 30%, it's about 14. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Social Security, you have to pay federal and state income tax. So keep that in mind, everybody, when you're figuring out your wage.
Definitely so. And then if you're paying an accountant or a bookkeeper to do your books, which I don't know, in the beginning you probably don't do that, but if you do, you also want to put their fee in there. So, but yeah.
Yep, and the fees for your cost of electricity and that type of thing as well. I had to step away for a second, so I apologize if this has already been discussed.
We talked about that for your utilities and your phone and all of this. You'll definitely want to make sure that you're accounting for all that. So,
what questions do we have for her, guys? Anybody?
I think she's been answering as we go.
Go. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I am. So if I go back to my presentation, I just wanted to show you my contact information. If you guys want to reach out to me, I don't know exactly how that's going to work because I am pretty busy, but if you reach out to me, I will respond. There's my email address and there's my phone number there. Feel free to text me or call me at that number, or email me there with any follow-up questions you might have. I'll be happy to assist in any way I can. And if I can, I'll find somebody who can.
Awesome. Thank you. Would it be okay with you if I put you in resources on our website?
Oh, for sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I see a thank you in the chat. Y'all are very welcome. Like, I I am, you know, I was so excited when I got asked to do this because I love to share information, especially stuff that's become, you know, that I found that works for me, that nobody told me about, right? You,
Mhm.
you just kind of find things just going on. You're like, oh my God, this is making me money. So I am happy to share, happy to share.
Awesome.
And so you, Patricia, you are going to be doing your own food truck now, I hear.
Oh, thank you for that point. I almost forgot about that. So yeah, so if we go back to the presentation,
Yep.
I don't know if you can see that. Y'all see the presentation again?
Yes. Nope, you're on Google. There you go.
There we go.
So yes, I'm actually getting a food trailer. That was the original one that I had. That's actually too small at this point. Because I put the oven inside and I realized it'd take up most of the
Trailer.
room. So I'm gonna try to get a bigger one, lower filling. And then on the right side, I forgot to mention this in the marketing because we had to move along. But if you can, try to get into a farmer's market. That's one of my displays, my farmer's market. You can see, you have everything labeled and put out there kind of nicely. And I have my signage about who I am and what I do, my logo and all of this. But yeah, getting in the farmers markets and events is great advertisement for your business. Great marketing. It gets you out there. It gets people knowing with who you are and what you do in the local community.
Fantastic. We actually have Christine, who's going to be in your area next month. And she said she'd love to try to stop around and visit. I would think that would be fantastic. And if you guys do connect, she's one of our board members. And regardless, she's a cottage food producer in Minnesota. And so it would be really neat to get a picture of you guys together to put on our website, connecting cottage food across the country, because this is pretty neat.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome. Yes, please tell her. Oh, please tell her to connect with me.
Yeah, my son's at Fort Hood and he's going to be deployed soon. And we're going down October 10th through the 14th to visit him.
Yeah, so let me know. Let me know. But like I said, my number is listed on the it's 512-262-9983. Listed it on the PowerPoint. I stopped sharing though. Let me see.
Yep. No, I wrote it down. I've got it. Thank you.
Christine, I'll look out for your call, okay?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, are there any other questions before you wrap up? Like I said, I could talk about this stuff all day.
Anybody else? Okay, so I don't see any other questions, and I'm going to put a plug in. So keep an eye out on Facebook and on the Minnesota Cottage Food Producers Association website, because we are going to have a couple of more webinars yet this year. Right now we're thinking it'll be taxes and best way to manage getting ready for taxes. I know we all love that. And then some decorating of cookies is what we're trying to accomplish. But also keep an ear and eye out, because we're in the process of planning the 3rd annual Cottage Food Producers Conference. And this year, because of COVID, we're going to do it via Zoom. But I think it's going to be really good because we're going to be able to have breakout sessions. So we're going to, come together as groups and have things going on. But then you're going to be able to choose different sessions that are of interest to you and that'll benefit you most in your cottage food business. Also, we emailed the Zoom links to all of you and everything like that. So if you have an area of interest that you would like to hear more about, please respond and let us know, because this is all for all of us in making our businesses stronger and making cottage food stronger here in Minnesota. So, and it's fun to connect with people across the United States. Love Zoom. Anything else I forgot, Shelley?
Nope, I think that's good.
All righty.
So thank you.
No more
everybody.
questions for anybody? All righty. So, yep. Thank you for doing this from Anna, and I'm just glad everybody could join in.
Thank you so much, Patricia.
Yes, it was
Thank you.
my
Yeah.
pleasure.
It was great to meet you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you,
All right. righty. Everybody have a great
With
evening.
us.
Good night.
And
All
I-
right, good night.
Good night. Bye, Gina. Bye, Cora. How's